opportunity to say to people, there is something different to what's happening in these Western countries. They've got hospitals, they've got good education, they've got municipal housing, they look after their people. And rather than have the greed of capital, what they've said up there, we want something different and we want a socialist order society. So tonight it gives us an opportunity to have a good drink, a good dance, and to say that the Cuban people we celebrate for what they've done and achieved with all of the attacks that's taken place on them by the American government.
Cuba was the first country in Latin America to break the Monroe Doctrine, under which the President of the United States, the old one, President Monroe, claimed that the United States government really had control of the whole of that continent.
129 times of the US intervened in Latin American and Caribbean countries. If you were to ask the easy question, when did they intervene on behalf of the good guys, then you have to say it was Sam Peckinpah's movie The Wild Bunch, but that wasn't the government that was sending them in there.
With the Cuban Revolution, that power was broken and Cuba became free, and by becoming free it was able to devote itself to so many important things for the world, not least the health service, the provision of health care for people all over the world, and all that goes with the Cuban Revolution.
1.6 million people have had their eyesight restored as a result of operations conducted by Cuban medical staff, absolutely free of any charge whatsoever. At the same time, more than 38,000 doctors and medics have travelled from Cuba to 76 countries across the world to provide health care free of charge.
And we were told, weren't we, that when Fidel Castro was taken ill, then the Cuban government would collapse. And it hasn't collapsed. It's continued in its same way. We was also told, remember, that the Cuban government could not survive a recession because they rely on tourism. The Cuban government is still surviving. More importantly, the people of Cuba are surviving.
The Americans have, as all comrades here know, been enacted in an illegal blockade now for over 50 years. A blockade that is meant to throttle the living daylights out of the Cuban people.
I had the opportunity to go to Cuba with Len last year. And 92 miles north of the Cuban island runs an oil pipe. And all they're asking the Cuban people if they can tap into that oil pipe to buy that oil. They don't want it free, they pay the market rate, and it's denied of them because of the blockade. Just look at the billions of pounds of oil that's been put into the Gulf of Mexico over the last 4 weeks, been thrown away. Why is it they can damage the environment with all this oil, but can't give it to the Cuban people to buy?
We've got someone in the room who's a retired member of the National Union of Seamen, a retired RMT member, an officer of the NUS, Harry Bygate, who got personal experience of running the blockade of Cuba in 1961.
On a ship called the Saldura, a crowd of seamen joined the ship in Rotterdam and said we're sailing away. Then we were told we were going to Cuba. Now, somebody else knew we were going to Cuba because all of a sudden when we got near Cuba, you got these American planes coming down and mast height, quite frightening in fact. And we doubled our black book with the States because the sugar that so desperately was needed in the economy for Cuba, we took it to Red China. So we done everything wrong. But not from the Cuban workers, dockers that we had. And these dockers, in appreciation of us, they gave us 2 flags. One flag they gave us was a flag of the United States. And they said, you can take that and do what you want with it. If we keep it, we'll burn it. Another flag says you can take that flag and keep it. I've had that flag since 1960-61. And that's how it was. Cheers.
And I've got to say that the Cuban ambassador, like the previous Cuban ambassador, has shown tremendous culture, and also, more importantly than that, they've been real decent human beings. That's the main point. So we'd like to accept this decanter. It's a specially made decanter for you. It's Edinburgh crystal. As you know, in Edinburgh, they're the posh people in Scotland. They're not like Harry, who's just come up here. I mean, Christ almighty. I mean, I thought Rab C. Nesbitt had been really dug up when he come back up there for a minute. But they're the posh people of Scotland, but they do a lovely crystal up there.
I am very humbled, really, by the expressions of solidarity and friendship, and also of knowledge and understanding that the working people in the UK show towards Cuba and towards the Cuban Revolution, what it represents, what it is all about. And let me tell you that we understand you back. We understand what your struggles are, and that we are besides you. We are going through tough times all over the world, and we all, the working people, we have to stick together.
We will never get up until the blockade is completely and unconditionally lifted. We will not get up until our 5 comrades imprisoned in the US are finally freed. We will never get up until the United States finally understands that we are equals, that we have a right to exist, and that we, most of all, have a right to decide the destiny of our nation.
I know, as you do, that when working people join hands across nations and across oceans, anything is possible. And we must keep that belief. Believe in our values, believe in our strength, believe in our class solidarity. And I'm confident that one day justice will prevail. Viva Cuba!
So brothers and sisters, we'd like to say on behalf of the National Union of Rail Maritime Transport Workers, thanks for coming down to the Cuban night. If you couldn't come here tonight, other people have contributed to the Cuban cause. But we've got a great finish off here tonight. The one and only working class socialist Alabama Free!
Woke up this morning, joined the RMT. Die on my feet, I live forever on my knee. When I pass that around, there is strength in unity. Bread for your sister, and a red, red rose for me. Woke up this morning, boss man said to me, I gotta let you go, Larry Love, on account of the economy. Tell the banker, tell the speculator, have you heard that goddamn news? I was born under a red flag, I'm gonna organize my blues. Cause I woke up this morning, now I'm ready to organize. Woke up this morning, now I'm ready to organize.